Hello, Charlotte. Today's story is The Ugly Duckling, something new to read. Here we go. There goes the duck, and the three little yellow ducks are ducklings. The Ugly Duckling. Mother Duck had found the perfect place on the farm to build her nest. It was cool and dry with plenty of grass, yet close enough to a stream. When the time came to take her ducklings for a swim, the other ducks quacked and splashed about in the water as she waited for her eggs to hatch. How many eggs do you think she's going to have, Charlotte, sweetie? Do you think she'll have 1 or 7 or 12? See, shall we? Then at last came the great day, when the shells burst open one after the other. Cheep, cheep, piped the tiny yellow ducklings as they waddled around. How wide the world is! What do you think the mummy duck said back to them? Do you think she said quack, quack? Mother Duck fussed around them proudly. She was so busy trying to keep all her ducklings together that at first she did not notice there was one egg bigger than any others still in the nest. One egg hasn't hatched yet. I wonder what's inside. You think it'll be a big surprise? That's a turkey's egg, quacked an old duck when she saw it. And turkeys never learn to swim, my dear, not like our little ones. Nasty birds they are too. Take my advice and leave it alone. She doesn't want the egg, but Mother Duck said she would sit on the egg a little longer until it hatched. And instead of a pretty yellow duckling, out came a fat, ugly chick with horrible dark grey feathers. Oh no! Do you think the mummy duck will love it or not? I hope she does. Was this a turkey chick? Wondered Mother Duck, leading the way down to the stream. How glad she was to see the ugly little bird swimming along behind the others. Wow, he's a lot different to the others, isn't it? Can you see the grey one and all the yellow ones? He's not a turkey, she thought, just an ugly duckling. The ugly duckling soon began to grow, and as he grew, the uglier he became. The other ducklings wouldn't even talk to him. Wow, that's very mean of them, you know. That's their brother and they don't want to talk to him. The hens in the farmyard pecked at him whenever he came near. Oh, what bullies, that's horrible. Worst of all was the turkey cock, who came at the ugly duckling making loud gobbling noises until it was red in the face. Even the little girl who fed the farmyard birds aimed kicks at him. Wow, she's a horrible little girl. Do you think we should tell her off for being mean to the duckling? Unhappy and frightened, he flew off, some smaller birds getting out of his way. That's because I'm so ugly, he thought. I think he's cute. I don't think he's ugly at all. The ugly duckling flew on until he came to a marsh where some wild ducks lived. My, said one, you're so ugly. The ugly duckling just fluffed up his feathers and fell asleep. Next day, the air was shattered by hunters shooting at the wild ducks. The ugly duckling thought he would die when one of the dogs found him. Then splash! The dog turned and went. Does that look like a fierce dog? What noise do dogs make, sweetie? They go meow. I think they do, right? I think he's going to scold the ugly duckling. I'm so ugly, thought the ugly duckling. Even the dog does not bite me. And he went on his way until he came to a hut where an old woman lived with her cat and a hen. Nobody saw him creeping inside. Can you see him creeping inside? I can see him creeping inside. You look closely. The woman thought the ugly duckling was a lady duck to lay eggs for her. But as he grew fatter and uglier and no eggs came, she got angry. The hen and the cat hated him because he could swim. Show me your angry face. What's the angry face the old lady is making? All summer long, the ugly duckling was all alone, eating whatever he could find. Then came the autumn, when the leaves blew down from the trees and the clouds hung low in the sky. Then at sunset one day, the ugly duckling saw the most beautiful white birds flying across the lake. He watched them until they were out of sight, wishing with all his heart that he could be one of them. Can you see the beautiful white birds flying across? You know, when you come to New Zealand, you're going to see all the leaves fall off the trees, you know, and it's going to make a big mess in the backyard and we have to pick it all up. The winter snow reminded him of those beautiful white birds. The river froze, almost freezing the ugly duckling with it, until a kind man broke the ice and took him home. His children wanted to play, but the ugly duckling thought they would hurt him. They scared him so much that he splashed into a pail of milk and then into a barrel of oatmeal. Oh no, he's making a mess. Uh-oh. Would you be scared if other children wanted to play with you, sweetie? The children laughed and laughed, but their mother was furious. The ugly duckling only just missed being hit by the fire tongs as he ran out into the bitter winter weather. Now came the worst part of the ugly duckling's whole life. Often he felt he would die from hunger and cold, longing for some shelter. He could hardly believe it when the sun shone again and the birds sang. Hearing the birds, the ugly duckling flapped his wings, surprised to find how big and strong they had become. The sun warmed his back as he flew, making him feel happier than he had been for a long, long time. On and on flew the ugly duckling, until he saw a garden, the scent of flowers wafting up towards him. Oh man, I like the smell of flowers. What's your favourite flower, Charlotte? Do they smell nice, do you think? Suddenly, 3 beautiful white swans flew out from the thicket, gliding into the water. Oh, can swans swim? I think they can, right? These were the birds he had seen in the autumn, the ones he loved, although he did not know why. What if they hurt me? He thought. Better to die here than to be beaten and punished because I'm so ugly. Do you think the beautiful swans are going to hurt him, sweetie? I wonder if they will. Slowly the swans turned and came towards him, looking so solemn that the ugly duckling bowed his head. He saw his reflection in the water, not the reflection of an ugly duckling, but of a beautiful white swan. Oh, he's grown up and now he's a beautiful white swan. He's not an ugly duckling anymore. The ugly duckling thought he was dreaming. Could he really be a beautiful swan? Do you think he can be? There's a new swan! Isn't he lovely? Said some little children as they stood by the lake. The handsome young swan lifted his head, looking all around him. This cannot be a dream, he thought. I could never have dreamed of being so happy when I was the ugly duckling. The end. Oh, the ugly duckling grew into a beautiful swan. Do you think that's a nice story to read? What do you think, Charlotte? Would you like to have a swan as a pet? They're very fierce, you know.